Iam Romani potentes esse coiperunt. Took you long enough, Romans. Pick up the pace, will ya? Salvete, viatores, and welcome back to Let's Translate Eutropius' Breviarium Historiae Romanae ab Orbe Condita. Last time we read about a bit of a tiff that the Romans had with their Latin allies, who wanted a bit more representation within their alliance, and the Romans did not take kindly to that. This time we're seeing the Romans face off with one of their greatest enemies within the Italian peninsula, before they really conquer the whole of Italy. So let us begin with Iam Romani potentes esse coiperunt. Yeah, I used the first sentence as the opener, but, I mean, whatever, shut up. So, iam, now, Romani is our subject. Coiperunt, our verb. So, now the Romans. Oh, wait, iam is a conjunction. I box the conjunctions. But now the Romans. Coiperunt. We've seen a phrase very much like this a few chapters back, but I think it was something about Roman power began to rise. So now the Romans began esse to be potentes, powerful. Bellum enem in centesimo et trecesimo fere miliario. Oh, wait. There. Ab orbe, apud samnitas gerebatur. So, first off, enem, or indeed, or furthermore, whatever. Bellum is our subject. So, a war. Indeed, in centesimo et trecesimo fere miliario. We've seen miliario plenty. So at, like, in is usually in or on, but in this context it's at the 130th milestone. Well, nearly. Fere is nearly. Why did I say it like that? Nearly, an adverb meaning nearly. So nearly at the 100 and, right, it's 30th? Yeah, 130th milestone ab orbe, from the city. Apud Samnitas. My first inclination was to do near the Samnites. So, like, it was 130 miles from the city, but it was near the Samnites. Except that doesn't really make sense. Really, apud can also mean by. So, like, by the Samnites, not in terms of location, but it was being done by the Samnites. Or it could also be, you could make the argument of, like, among the Samnites. No, that doesn't really work. I've seen it translated against the Samnites, which is definitely, like, what is happening, but I think with the Samnites makes most sense, given apud, and I'm pretty sure we haven't seen it be used for against a people before, and I have not seen it before in that context, so I'm going to go with the Samnites. And gerebatur, imperfect, third person singular, passive, was fought, or was waged, was waged. So a war was waged, indeed, nearly at the 130th milestone from the city with the Samnites. Qui, who? Yeah, and actually, I was going to say that you could have said waged with the Samnites at the blah, blah, blah. But having it at the end of the phrase, the Samnites, works pretty well to make it clear that qui is referring to the Samnites. It is relative to the Samnites. So qui medii sunt inter Picinum, Campaniam et Apuliam. So qui, who medii sunt, are like in the middle inter Picenum, Campaniam et Apuliam. So are in the middle between Picenum, Campania, and Apulia. I'm not sure you need both in the middle and between. It's just saying, like, this is where the Samnites lived. They were, smushed between Picenum, Campania, which was, like, south from Rome, and Apulia. So it was, like, southeast from where the Romans were. So for their whole sentence, because this was just the end of that sentence, indeed, a war was waged at nearly at the 130th milestone from the city with the Samnites, who were in the middle between Picenum, Campania, and Apulia. Now, Lucius Papirius cursor, cum honore dictatoris, ad et bellum profectus est. So our subject here, Papirius cursor, this guy's kind of seen as a big deal, kind of. I don't know. He was at least elected dictator, that's something. But Livy, oh boy, Livy. So last chapter I talked about how I adore Alexander and everything related to him. So I actually, when sight reading these chapters, I was like, Eutropius mentions Alexander here. What does Livy say around this point? And Livy literally says, I don't mean to... He's talking about Lucius Papirius cursor, and then is like, I don't mean to digress, but... And then goes on a whole 3-chapter tirade on if Alexander invaded Rome, why he would lose, and all the many reasons why. It's a trip. But that's neither here nor there right now. Lucius Papirius cursor, cum honore dictatoris. So cum, we have an ablative here, so it's not the conjunction, meaning when, but cum honore, with the honor, dictatoris. Dictatoris is in the genitive case here, so it is modifying honore, with the honor of dictator. So he was elected dictator, as I said prior. Ad id bellum, to the war, profectus est. I was advanced. I thought this was from proficio, but it's actually, I think it might actually be from, what was it? It's actually from proficiscor, which means like to depart. And if it was from proficio, it would be a perfect passive participle, which is why I said was advanced, which doesn't make much sense. I was like, I guess he was told to go? But with proficiscor, that is a deponent verb. So, as we learned back in chapter 4, deponent verbs, when they become perfect passive participles, they're actually translated active instead of passive. So really a perfect active participle, but those technically don't exist, blah, blah, blah. So, he departed ad id bellum, to the war, cum honore dictatoris, with the honor of dictator. So Lucius Papirius cursor, with the honor of dictator, departed to the war. Qui cum Romam redieret, Quinto, Fabio Maximo, magistro equitum, quem apud exercitum rerequit, praecepit, nisse absente pugnaret. So, qui, who, referring to Papirius cursor, cum Romam redieret. This time, cum is the conjunction. So, when he returned, redieret, to Rome. And remember, this is imperfect subjunctive. If I recall correctly, I'm not going to look it up right now, but I'm pretty sure cum as the conjunction needs the subjunctive mood for whatever word it's going with. So yeah, when he returned to Rome, Quinto Fabio Maximo. That's dative or ablative. Don't know exactly what it's doing yet. Magistro equitum. That's just an apposition to Quinto Fabio Maximo. So we have Quintus Fabius Maximus, master of the horse, which I forget if it's come up in Eutropius yet. But master of the horse, it's essentially like a minor dictator, the like sort of assistant dictator, the assistant to the dictator. You may also recognize the name Quintus Fabius Maximus if you have studied the Second Punic War. This is that famous Quintus Fabius Maximus. This is that guy's grandfather. Oh, also, there was some agnomen, like an extra special nickname specific to this guy. What was it? Rurianus was his agnomen. So, Quintus Fabius Maximus Rurianus. Just to differentiate him from the Cunctator, Quintus Fabius Maximus. So, once again, dative or ablative, we don't know exactly what this is doing in the sentence yet. Quem, another relative clause. In fact, that closes that relative clause. But that's in the accusative, so whom, it's happening to him. Apud exercitum reliquit. Praecipit is also a verb, just to put all that out there. So whom he left, he being Papirius cursor in this case, I guess apud exercitum. Again, I keep thinking near the army, but I'm pretty sure, again, it's with the army. Just in this case, it's like actually at the army, and yeah, just left the army in his care. Praecipit, I believe it's like he ordered or commanded, and that, yeah, that can take a dative. So praecipit, he commanded or ordered Quinto Fabio Maximo to Quintus Fabius Maximus. Ne se absente pugnaret. What is this? What exactly grammatically is this? I know ne. I mean, it could be so that he not, or that he not fight, se absente, with him absent. Yeah, I think that actually sounds fine. So, who, Lucius Papirius Cursor, when he returned to Rome, he ordered Quintus, he ordered Quintus Fabius Maximus, master of the horse, whom he had left with his army, that he not fight with him absent, or in his absence. No, that sounds awkward. That sounds a little awkward. I'm fairly certain that this is supposed to be the conjunction ne and not the adverb ne, even though they mean very similar things. But it's with the verb for the phrase is in the subjunctive, so I'm pretty sure it's the conjunction, in which case ne. I guess if you want to put it in colloquial English, I guess you could just say to not fight in his absence, or with him absent. And really, yeah, this is with him absent, I'm pretty sure, because absente, from what I've seen, is from absens, which is a participle, meaning absent. So it's not absence, it's not the noun for the concept of absence, it is describing that he is absent. So, with him absent. So, to put it into good sounding English, I guess really cum, when should go first, because we tend to have the conjunctions first in our sentences and phrases. So when, or, well, yeah, oh wait, is that the end of the relative clause? Because is the whole thing just a relative clause? Because it would be like, who, Papirius Cursor, when he returned to Rome, ordered, and that's still going with like the who as the subject. Maybe that is just a whole relative clause. That's weird. Or at least to there. I don't know. Oh, wait, no, I wanted that one. I'm not sure, honestly. It could be somewhere around there, but the subject is still the qui throughout this whole sentence, except for this little subordinate clause. This little negative command purpose thing. But either way, when, or who, when he returned to Rome, he ordered Quintus Fabius Maximus, his master of the horse, whom he left with the army, to not fight in his absence, or with him absent. That's it. Ille, that guy, occasione reperta felicissime. What did I just say? Felicissime. Dimicavit et samnitas delevit. Conjunction. Always the easiest thing to see. Dimicavit's a verb, delevit is a verb, samnitas is object. I'm just naming off all the things that I recognize off the bat. So, ille, that man, meaning Quintus Fabius Maximus. I think all these go together with like an ablative absolute, maybe? Dimicavit. I'm pretty sure it is an ablative absolute. Like having, well, more like a most fortunate felicissime. It's a superlative. You can tell by that, like the double S, felicissime. So a most fortunate occasion was found or discovered. So that man, after a most fortunate occasion or opportunity, really, was discovered, he fought and he destroyed the Samnites. Samnitas is being used as the object for both dimicavit and delevit. So just real quick all together, that man, after a most fortunate opportunity was found, he fought and destroyed the Samnites. Obquam rem ad dictatore capitis damnatus. I believe obquam rem is a prepositional phrase. Ad dictatore capitis damnatus. So I think on account of which matter, maybe even action might work. Damnatus, he was, well, it clearly looks like a certain English word, but more like condemned, I'm going to say. He was condemned. Capitis is actually genitive from the word caput, meaning head. He was condemned of the head. Basically, he was going to lose his head. Capital punishment. So, on account of which thing, he was condemned of the head by the dictator. Quod se vetante pugnasset. Quod should be the conjunction here, because pugnasset, pluperfect, he had fought, like when he forbid it, or literally with him forbidding it. So because he had fought with him forbidding it, he, like, all that happened, on account of which matter or action he was condemned of the head by the dictator. Ingenti favore militum et populi liberatus est. Tanta Papirius editione commota ut paene ipse interficerator. Bleh, interficerator. So et conjunction liberatus est is a perfect passive participle. Oh, okay. I put it all together. Because ingenti gets me so much. It comes from ingens. So that's, wait, hold on. It comes from ingens, but it's a third declension word, but it declines weird. So usually I think of the third declension singular endings. Bla is eme. But no, this ingenti is ablative singular, and it is modifying favore. So liberatus est, he was freed or liberated by the immense favor militum of the soldiers et populi, and of the people. At least according to this story may not have happened. It's written about by Livy, but historians aren't completely sure if it was made up or not. It's a very detailed story as well. But according to the story, Quintus Fabius Maximus was beloved by everybody, and everybody had to beg Papirius Cursor not to execute him. Like, even the Senate was begging him not to. And if I recall correctly, the only thing that got Cursor to relent was Quintus Fabius Maximus and his father, Fabius's father, to like kneel and beg Papirius not to do this. But at least here, he was freed by the immense favor of the soldiers and the people. Everybody was just loved this guy. Tanta Papirio seditione commota ut paene ipse interfecerator. I feel like this is all an ablative absolute or something to that effect. This is all ablative, is it not? I guess, what is it? With such a rebellion, rebellion stirred up, Papirio. I guess against Papirius or for Papirius. Ut paene ipse interfecerator. Ut that ipse, he himself, ipse being Papirius, was paene, almost, interfecerator, killed. So, hold on. My question is who he is. Who is ipse in this sense? I know tanta is at least modifying seditione. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the ipse has to still be referring to Quintus Fabius Maximus. Because maybe while? No, not while. I don't know. This is so weird. With such a rebellion, or with such a rebellion incited against Papirius. Except that doesn't really. Coming back to this, when I was doing the English reading, I was trying to figure out a good translation for this last line, and I realized, oh wait, this sounds best if you just treat the ablative absolute as like ablative of means for the whole thing. Like, it's just all just ablative of means. So it would be he was freed by the immense favor of the soldiers and people with such an uprising incited against Papirius that he himself was almost killed. There we go. That's what sounds good. So there you go. But anyways, let's get to a Latin reading and an English reading. Iam Romani potentes esse coiperunt. Bellum enum incentesimo et tricesimo fere miliario ab orbe, apud Samnitas gerebatur, qui medii sunt inter Picenum, Campaniam et Apuliam. Lucius Papirius cursor cum honore dictatoris, ad id bellum profectus est. Cui cum Romam radiret, Quinto Fabio Maximo magistrum equitum, quem apud exercitum rerequit, praecepit nesse absente pugnaret. Ille, occasione reperta felicissime, dimicavit et Samnitas delevit. Obquam rem ad dictatore capitis damnatus, quod se vetante pugnasset. Ingenti faroe militum et populi liberatus est. Tanta Papirio seditione commota, ut paene ipse interfeceretur. Now the Romans began to be powerful, so a war was waged almost at the 130th milestone from the city with the Samnites, who were between Picenum, Campania, and Apulia. Lucius Papirius Cursor, with the honor of dictator, departed to the war. He who, when he returned to Rome, directed to Quintus Fabius Maximus, his master of horse, whom he left with the army, that he was not to fight with him absent. That Quintus Fabius Maximus, when a most fortunate opportunity was found, he fought and destroyed the Samnites, on account of which action he was condemned of his head by the dictator, because he had fought when he was forbidding it. He was freed by the massive favor of the soldiers and people, though so great an uprising was incited against Papirius that he himself was nearly killed. If you have made it this far, thank you very much for watching. If you have any improvements or comments on my translation of Chapter 8 of Book 2 of Eutropius' Breviarium, feel free to leave them down in the comments below. Otherwise, I hope to see you next time, where we continue with the Romans' wars against the Samnites, because technically what we covered today was the second Samnite War. Eutropius just skips over the first one. But yeah, next we'll be continuing in this second Samnite War. Valete, viatores.